success in 2022 is not going to be defined as making the playoffs, right? Let's just get that. It's going to be defined as proving that you're not the same old Jets. I stand by it. I stand by it. I'm not a hater. No. I'm just saying, if you're assessing what the Jets... And then Mike Robb was quick to hammer me again and say, well, wait a minute. So we're not even aiming for... It's not that. It's not that they're... When you get to the end of the season, we want to look at it and say, okay, are the Jets building something? Is there forward momentum? And if they didn't make the playoffs, but they're around 500 and they made some progress in a lot of areas, Jets fans are going to be really happy. Mm-hmm. I stand by that. But you want to make me the hater? Well, you can make me the hater. Let's go.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's maybe what Sean will do. I don't know. Are you going to...
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say that's no way to get the hall pass to the Jets facility.
So Jets fans downstairs.
Add that to the list of buildings you're not going to be allowed into without security escorts. Look, I think for the Jets, there's a couple things that I look at. And offensively, everybody's going to look at the quarterback. They're looking at Zach Wilson and how is he going to do, how's he going to perform. But I'm looking at Mekhi Becton, their tackle that they drafted in the first round a couple years ago. Mekhi Becton, here's what a successful season for the Jets is. That guy playing 16 games. He missed all 16 games last year, and that can't happen again. Look, Joe Douglas went out on a limb to get this kid. He is a special player. I mean, there are stuff that he does to defensive ends that there are only a few tackles in the NFL that could do some of the things that he does. But he's got to be healthy, and he's got to be in shape. So that is key number one for this Jets offense. But let's be honest. Look, they brought Robert Saleh to the New York Jets because of his defensive prowess. Can we take a look at how bad the Jets' defense was last year?
Certainly can.
All right, look, you could talk all you want about offense and Zach Wilson and who are the receivers. Look at all the talent we brought in. Breece Hall just signed. Great, awesome. This is why you were brought to the Jets, to help the defense out, to make the defense better. That can't happen again. If the Jets are going to have a meaningful season and it's a successful season, the defense has to get better. They certainly added a ton of talent, but that scheme's got to start to take over, and they need to start to get that identity on defense.
And I think you hit on it, Sean, because I think it was really tough for Joe Douglas to pass up a couple of offensive tackles that went right behind him. But knowing that Sauce Gardner, who they love Sauce Gardner, it's not that they like those guys over him, or rather, but they knew it was a need combined with a guy that they really love, and he certainly, they believe, will start to help that side of the ball, which leads me to my point, right? So if we're saying this right here, it's on the screen, how can the Jets be playoff contenders? Let's say they make the playoffs. How is it going to happen? Well, Sauce Gardner and Jermaine Johnson and who did I miss? Garrett Wilson, and here's your fourth pick, is Breece Hall, the guy that we're talking about that just signed. These guys are going to have to ball out, right? I mean, the Jets went into this knowing that they really had to build their nucleus going forward, and they feel like they have done it for the long haul, but these guys are really going to have to ball this year. And I think some of them will, and they're going to show their potential, but if they're going to make the playoffs, these guys got to play out of their minds and be immediate contributors to this team. They like what they've seen in various capacities from these guys in the spring, but they're really going to have to hit the ground running. And they, we've got the additions there: C.J. Uzomah, and Tyler Conklin, a couple of tight ends that they added there. There are the makings of success for the Jets going forward. Let's see how quickly it can happen, James Palmer.
Yeah. Well, it's a quarterback-driven league. Let's see how quickly Zach Wilson takes a step in year two. And Mike pointed to it. I'll point to it as well below us. How can the Jets be playoff contenders? Sean and I said before the show, I don't know. I don't want to put it out there, but I think there needs to be a litany of injuries to key players throughout the AFC.
I think the voodoo doll
for the Jets to be into the postseason. Yes, the voodoo doll was Sean's exact claim on it. But I want to see Zach Wilson kind of change his game in a sense. And reports out of people that were at camp every day was kind of an up and down offseason so far. What they did see is when he was at his best was when he was out there doing exactly what they want him to do, and don't try to be a hero every single play. Take what's given there. This offense can get receivers open. They have Garrett Wilson. He's from Ohio State, so he's amazing. So that's a great addition to this offense. He has throws that are there within this offense. Don't try to do everything with every play. I mean, you look at this completion percentage, last. Passer rating, last. Sacked, 29th. Yards per game, 30th. Yards per attempt, 30th. You need to get above that to see where this team is going to go. And a big jump in year two is extremely important. And to Sean's point on the defensive side of the ball, you got to stop the run, because this defense is built off of making sure your pass rushers can get after the quarterback. And you can't do that if you're not stopping the run. And they weren't able to do that at all last year. So if you want this defense to work with these pieces we're talking about, these new pieces,
Right.
stop the run and let Zach Wilson grow within this offense and take a big step. That's what I need to see. I'm with Mike. I'm going to say it. I'm with Mike. I need to see not the postseason. I need to see a nice step in the right direction.
Yeah, but that's just it, though. I think they are stepping in the right direction in terms of being playoff contenders. I think a lot has to happen for them to achieve that goal. But I think for Jets fans, at least, though, you have some faith in seeing what kind of talent has been assembled there with this roster. Now, we've been talking about Zach Wilson and his development as a quarterback, okay? Not just, I know you were thinking about Palmer. I'm talking on the field, his development as a quarterback.
His ability to score?
Yeah, his ability to score. Oh, boy. Right on it, John.
Listen. We just need Zach Wilson to perform well above his age.
Yes, there we go. Listen, he has to
Jets be on the right
absolutely
track.
go scorched earth on the field, and we're talking about a year two Josh Allen level leap here, and that's not totally out of the realm of possibilities. An extremely talented guy who showed flashes of potential last year. If you think about that touchdown run that he had against the Jaguars, 52 yards, and then he obviously helped them beat the Titans. So we've seen flashes. He just has to take the next step, and as we know, with these quarterbacks in year two, they have to see some marked improvement. Look, we saw Joe Burrow in year two and what he did. Are we saying that he's going to be Joe Burrow? No, but I'm just saying that at least if he can learn to slow the game down and anticipate things ahead of time, there's at least some potential there to be excited about for the future.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And when you think about second-year quarterbacks in the same offense, they're different breeds. They're different guys. They sound different. They're different in the huddle. They're different in their command. They're different in the way that they command the huddle, and then they command the offense at the line of scrimmage. So that's what Zach needs to do.
He did protect the football down the stretch. I think he had one pick in his last 6 games. That's
All right,
as
so there you
the
go. That's
season
one
goes improved.
positive.
Will,
There we
Will,
go.
Yeah.
Can I just? Here's all I want.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike.
I'm not a fan, but I live in this market.
Yeah.
I work in this market, and I like the things around me mean something and they're relevant. Can we just, when the calendar turns to October, can I just have one or both New York team still kind of in? I mean, we got to October and it was already over.
Yeah.
For both teams, and there's reason to believe that one or both in the near future will lead themselves back to relevance. I'd like to see it soon. I'd like to feel it. It's fun when football matters in New York, and it's been a long time since it has.
Oh,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Look at
it's as good as American Pie.